Hi, dear friends. Good morning to one and all. Dear friends, in the previous part, we have started the study of molecular spectroscopy, and in the previous part of the video, we have discussed the various basic terms of the molecular spectroscopy. Dear friends, if you are remember about the last part of the video, then we have also discussed about the various types of the electromagnetic radiations which can shows interaction with the various species like atom, ion or the molecule, and based upon that definitely we are going to discuss about the different types of the molecular spectroscopy. Dear friends, in this part of the video now we are going to study about the electromagnetic spectrum, which is the arrangement, or it consists of the arrangement of all electromagnetic radiation based upon their frequency or the wavelength. So here this is one of the important part in which we will talk about different types of the electromagnetic radiation with their different uses in our day-to-day life. Whenever we want to define this electromagnetic spectrum is a continuous range of frequencies arranged in the order of increasing wavelength or decreasing frequency. This all the radiation whenever arranged on the basis of increasing wavelength or decreasing frequency, then it is known as the electromagnetic spectrum. So this electromagnetic spectrum consists of different types of the electromagnetic radiation based upon increasing their wavelength or decreasing their frequency. So this is the simply the group of all electromagnetic radiation based upon increasing wavelength or decreasing frequency. So this entire range of the spectrum is often broken into smaller regions or into specific regions, and this electromagnetic radiation other than that of visible radiations or the visible light were discovered in the early 19th century, and the various regions of this electromagnetic spectrum are discussed, or this can be discussed one by one in detail. The first region of this electromagnetic spectrum is called as the gamma rays. Actually this is the electromagnetic radiation which occupy a spectrum from 10 raised to minus 2 to 10 raised to minus 1 nanometer. So this is the region of electromagnetic spectrum occupied by gamma rays. So region occupied by gamma rays of the electromagnetic spectrum is in between 10 raised to minus 2 to 10 raised to minus 1 nanometer. So most these radiation, that is gamma radiations, are most energetic as compared to all electromagnetic radiation of the electromagnetic spectrum. They are having very small wavelength and the high frequency. It's very important because these radiations in the electromagnetic spectrum are arranged on increasing value of wavelength or decreasing frequency. That's why these gamma rays are having these are the radiations which are having smallest wavelength and the highest frequency as compared to all remaining electromagnetic radiation. Again, these electromagnetic radiation means the gamma rays are emitted during the disintegration of radioactive nuclei. Disintegration of radioactive nuclei is called as the radioactivity, which is discovered by means of an Marie Curie. So this gamma rays discovered or this is discovered by means of an Rutherford, but the discovery of this gamma rays is associated with the radioactivity. This radioactivity was discovered by the Marie Curie, but just I want to tell you here, the discovery of gamma rays or the gamma radiations is associated with the radioactivity, and the discovery of this gamma rays is done by the Rutherford. Now dear friends, if you look at the different uses of these gamma rays in our day-to-day life, generally these gamma rays are used to treat the cells of the cancer, and these are used to treat the cancerous cells or the cancerous tumors by destroying a cancer cell. So definitely these gamma rays are used in the treatment of cancer tumors or the cancer cells. Again, these gamma rays are also used to test the casting or and welding different joints for very small objects or almost invisible cracks or the defects, because there are some parts which cannot be visible by our naked eyes, or or there may be some cracks or the defects which cannot be observed by means upon our naked eyes. So in that case, to test such a casting, welding or invisible cracks or the defects, these gamma radiations are used. And in addition to this, these gamma radiations are also used in sterilizing medical instruments, because it is very essential to sterilize the various medical instruments before their use, and for that purpose the gamma radiations are used. Again, these gamma radiations are again used to irradiate different fruits and the vegetables to increase their life, particularly to increase their shelf life. Shelf is the outer covering of the fruits and the vegetables. So whenever the gamma radiations are used, these gamma radiations will kill the bacteria or the pathogens which are present on the surface of the fruits and the vegetables, and that's why it can be used to increase their shelf life. The another reason of the electromagnetic spectrum is called like X-rays. These X-rays in the electromagnetic spectrum occupy the region or the range from 0.01 nanometer to 10 nanometer. So this is the region of X-rays in the electromagnetic spectrum, and these X-rays occupy the region from 10 raised to it means 0.01 nanometer to 10 nanometer. And these X-rays or these electromagnetic radiation of the electromagnetic spectrum is having greater wavelength and smaller frequency than that of the gamma rays. It means whenever these X-rays are compared with the gamma rays, then these will have the greater wavelength and the smaller frequency. Again, these X-rays are produced whenever the metal target is irradiated with the beam of high energy electrons, and these are also emitted by means of celestial objects also. So particularly these are produced whenever the metal object or the metal target is irradiated or bombarded with the help of or with the beam of high energy electrons. These X-rays were discovered by the Wilhelm Röntgen, and it is also named by the same scientist, Wilhelm Röntgen, and for this purpose he was awarded the Nobel Prize in the year of 1901. So this is all about the X-rays, about its occupying region in the electromagnetic spectrum, its a discovery as well as emission. Now dear friends, if we talk about the different uses of this X-rays, which is very familiar to you all, the most important use of these X-rays is used in the study of crystal of the various crystalline substances. So whenever we want to use the structure of the crystal, then this X-rays is used, and that branch is called like the X-ray crystallography. The another use of the X-rays are these are also used to inspect the industrial parts for the different cracks. So if there is a crack in the industrial part, because these parts are very large parts and it's very difficult to observe the cracks, and in that case the X-rays are used to inspect the industrial parts for the cracks. These are also used to detect some fracture. If there is a fracture in the bones, then we are using this X-ray, and generally we observe this technique very well in the different hospitals. And these are also used for the security purposes by scanning the luggage at the airport or at any railway station like this. So by scanning luggage, the security purpose, because if there is a metal or any that is thing that can be detected very easily with the help of X-rays. The another reason of the electromagnetic spectrum is also very important, and that we call it as the ultraviolet region after the study of X-rays, and this is simply called as the UV region or the UV rays. The UV rays in the electromagnetic spectrum occupy the range of 10 nanometer to 400 nanometer. So this is the region occupied by ultraviolet rays in the electromagnetic spectrum, and if we will subdivide this region, then we are getting the different regions. The region from 1 nanometer to 180 nanometer is called like the vacuum ultraviolet. So that will be in between this one. The region from 180 nanometer to it should be 10 nanometer, not the 1 nanometer, to 400 nanometer. It's called as the ultraviolet region. In general, these ultraviolet rays are emitted by means of a sun. These are also generated by the hot young stars, particularly massive stars. These UV rays discovered by means of a German physicist in the year of 1801, known as Johann Wilhelm Ritter. So these UV rays are discovered by Johann Wilhelm Ritter in the year of 1801. If we'll talk about the different uses of these UV radiations, these are also having much more importance in our day-to-day life, just like the gamma rays and the X-ray. These are used to sterilize the different workplaces and also different tools or the instruments used in the medical facility, just like the gamma rays. These are also used in the different lamps, and that lamps are used to eliminate the small flying objects, because there are so many shops where you will find this type of the UV lamps where these are used to eliminate the small flying objects. These are also used in the satellites also. The satellite based UV detectors provide the excellent data on distant stars. If there is a large distance between the stars, then satellite based UV detectors are used to get data or to send the data on distant stars. And this is one of the important biological use of these UV rays, that production of vitamin D take place in presence of an UV rays or the UV radiations, and sun tanning is also stimulated by the exposure to ultraviolet radiation. So these are some important uses of the ultraviolet radiation, just like the gamma rays and the X-rays. Definitely there are again more reasons in the electromagnetic spectrum that will consist of the different or the various types of electromagnetic radiation, and that will also having more important use, or that will also having some important uses in our day-to-day life. So this is very important to discuss that radiation, but definitely we will discuss this all the remaining electromagnetic radiation present in the electromagnetic spectrum in the next part of the video. So dear friends, we will resume in the next part of the video to discuss about the remaining types of electromagnetic radiation. Thank you very much.